Red's on stage. Chris is on stage. Boom, boom, boom. Where's that echo? Is that coming through you or me?
I don't hear an echo.
Phil, can you hear that echo? You don't? Okay, let me do this. Maybe it's my camera or my... Okay, guys, we apologize. There's some technical difficulties over here. Phil's having mic issues. But anyway, welcome to the Naughty Business Live YouTube. Here we go, Thursday. We got Chris with Epic Styles coming in with us. So he's got some cool animals to show. Let's roll with it, man. So thank you. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties on Phil's in.
It wouldn't be technology without technical difficulties.
Right, we all deal with this, so we appreciate you understanding, and thanks for joining
definitely.
us. This is our second show on YouTube. So
there you go. Yeah, no,
we're excited for that. Excited to have you. Roll with it, big dog, man. Wherever you want to start, how you got into it, stuff like that,
Let's see. So what it was 28, 25. So I would say I've been keeping and loved reptiles as a kid, but started rekeeping and keeping reptiles and going to shows back in 2015. So this fall will be about 10 years restarting my reptile journey. And that started because our oldest son, who's 14 now, when he was 5, we were just trying to find a pet, maybe a dog, maybe something on that line, to have as a family animal, just to enjoy in that aspect. And then I got to thinking about it. We both work so busy. How are we ever going to? Oh, definitely red line all day. But
that's right, red line for the win.
How are we going? How I don't want to go to work 8-9 hours a day, then come home to a puppy that's in a kennel, and then have to clean it out. And yeah, I get puppies learn real quick, and they're not going to go where they stay at and stuff. But it just didn't seem fair to the puppy. And so right. I'm like, so let's think of something different. And so we started thinking about fish or maybe a hamster or reptiles. And we're like, you know what? Let's just go check out some reptiles and have him pick one out. We did go to a box store at the time. We went to PetSmart. That's before I was equipped and knew of reptile shows. So we got our first bearded dragon from PetSmart. And about 3 months later, my wife found our local reptile show here in Kansas City. And that kind of sparked our interest in our adventure and going to these shows regularly, becoming a part of our local community here. And from there, just you go to the show, you see something, you want to go home and learn about it. You want to go home and is this something I like? Or then you start diving deeper in and finding different things. I remember I came across these green tree pythons, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these things are wicked. Like they start out either yellow or red as their neonate form, and just changing colors once they get to that 10 to 12 month section. And it's just enjoyable. It's a blast. And so that really piqued my interest and started getting things going on that end of it. And then lo and behold, I got to know the person that puts on our show here in the area, Jason Cruz, who runs Cold Blooded Expos. And we formed a really good friendship. And that friendship led to me working the Kansas City show and helping customers, helping at his table, to then he has shows in Minnesota, Oklahoma, Iowa, Chicago. He had one in Colorado at the time and stuff. And so that then allowed me to travel to those different shows, helping him set up, running the booth, getting to meet other vendors and stuff like that. And kind of, if I throw it at you quickly on the idea of it was like a reptile internship for me.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
It fueled that passion and that adventure and that want to meet other great people and see what other people are working with and just having a chance to go see different reptile communities and get to know the people there and kind of start building that your branch of people and connections and stuff like that. So it was really a blessing in disguise. I never if that person at PetSmart when we got our first reptile would have been like, "Hey, this bearded dragon's going to change your life," I would have like, "What are you talking about?"
Dude, so cool to have an opportunity like that,
Yeah,
and just to fall into something that, you probably already had a passion for, and, because you love animals as it is.
yeah, no,
We
for
all got
sure.
started one way or another, right? We all had cats or hamsters or something, and then got into a reptile. So how freaking awesome is
Yeah,
that, dude? For the
no.
win.
Yeah,
Heck
no,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, and so that just like one thing led to another, and worked with him and helping him out with stuff for, 4 years or so, and then you go to a reptile show, you're in the community, start collecting things. You find different niches and different things you like, and I got to the space to where I was like, you know what, I have some things that are starting to breed. I have connections where I can get stuff for my table and stuff. I think this would be a great opportunity for me to kind of take my chance, and I really enjoy this to go out and kind of blaze my own little trail here. And that's where we started the whole epic style wild
Dude.
house out there vending. But then here locally in the city, I wanted to keep fueling that passion, or keep that interest, or like maybe some people might not come across a reptile till they come to a first reptile show, and they might be 40 or 50 years old. They might
Correct.
be 30. You never know when you're going to come across that introduction happens. And watching Bar Check, or watching like people at Camp Cannon, and watching different influencers on YouTube when I first was getting into reptiles and trying to absorb all that knowledge. Um, I noticed that a couple different people and places did educational events and parties and different things, just trying to light that spark and keep that flame burning for the community, because um, our hobby can only keep growing as we bring others into the hobby. And so having others excited and interested or curious about what there is, because there's so many different avenues and adventures and reptiles and different ways you can take this into your life and how you want to use it. You just have to figure out the tools to make it work for you. And so locally, we like to do parties and educational presentations. Well, what's the first species?
First species you
Oh,
started breeding or working
well,
with.
that was the ball python. That's what
There you go.
that's
As
what I
most of us, right?
right.
Most of us, all it is.
That was the gate. That was the gateway reptile. And so I got a couple of them, started going to shows and looking at deals, and enjoying that, and I got to the point to where it was like looking on Morph Market and using like the calculator to see what you can get and all these different things. And I started realizing that I'd kind of made a fatal error in my buying. I was just buying stuff I saw on deals, or this, or I was buying babies, so then I would still need to wait, 3-4 years for
Yeah,
them
yeah.
on females to get to a size, or and so it's just I didn't go into it with the business. I went into it with I enjoyed the reptiles. I enjoyed this. I want to open this tub, this cage, and be like, oh man, that's a cool snake. Oh, that's a cool snake too. Like, and not thinking that, hey, I want to do something about this and have a nice little collection that I can breed and make some really nice things with as well. And so when I stepped back and started looking at that, I realized I had more of like a Dollar General collection. Nothing against them on that part, but it
No,
wasn't
no, no, man. You're hitting the nail on
it
the head,
it
because
it
there's so many of us that does that or has done that, or I mean, I've bought
yeah,
some stuff that may
it's
or may not be, and right. So
yeah,
yeah, you got to take
yeah,
your licks
no,
and go, okay,
yeah, no, it
yeah,
was kind of like that thing that circulated lately about like a ball python, pyramid scheme or what, blah blah blah. Like it was the whole thing of like, okay, well, I want to do this and do this. So I got these snakes. Okay, well, these are only going to make $70 snakes. Well, that's not going to work. Uh, or I only have this one recessive, so I have to breed these, grow up the offspring, and then breed. This is silly. And so I started stepping back and kind of looking and assessing like what is it that I really enjoy? Like where when I was at shows, what tables did I gravitate towards? What things did I see? What piqued my interest? Because there's a lot of people in ball pythons.
Yes.
So to make a splash or make a wave on my thought was like that's like got to keep up with the Kardashians or something like that. Like there's just so much on that end unless you get into something on the front end of it at the time that you can ride that section out. And I just didn't see myself in that position or have that
Right.
ability or connection to get some good deals on some stuff to continue that part forward. So I scaled my ball pythons down and started slowly selling those and stuff and kind of looking for a different idea. So then lo and behold, I stumble across Leachianus geckos. Leachianus geckos are considered our largest living gecko species.
Dude,
They are
leeches
from
are awesome.
the island of New Caledonia. Same place as your cresteds, your Saracenorums, your gargoyles, your kahuas, your chihuahuas, whichever pronunciation you prefer. I'm a chihua pronunciation on that either, but those caught my eye and my fascination. So I got a few of those, and slowly the number started climbing. My wife got to really enjoy them on that fact. So then her enjoyment in that, then also then, all right, this is okay. You like enjoy this too. So I feel like I can go over the line a little bit more and maybe get something, or we can do this or whatever.
Right,
Whereas
because she's into it now.
she's in,
Okay, and
yeah,
then she
exactly.
starts to
'Cause
see it when you bring it in and go, looky here. This is what we can make here a lot faster than over here.
right, and at the time,
Yeah.
at the time, like when I got my first leeches, I think on Morph Market, there was like 70 to 80 leeches total on Morph Market. On Morph Market, I'm pulling it up right now. Let's
No,
see. On Morph
I know
Market,
that wasn't very many at all.
no, on Morph Market right now, we're at 1,028 Leachianus geckos that are posted on there. So, and that's over a 5.5 year span from when because I got my first leeches in 2019. And so in 5.5 years, you've seen that go from 60 to 80 in that range all the way up. It's been the last, like, I'd say 3 months. It's been mid 900s as I watch it and stuff like that, which is good. I want more people to get into the hobby and be interested in leech on because that makes what I have more interesting, more about not
Yeah,
valuable,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, completely.
people know what it is. Like when someone walks up to your table and goes, "What is that?" Well, that's not a sell. That's a teaching moment, which is great, and I enjoy those as well. But it's great when someone walks up to your table and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like this is I've been looking for leeches. You have so many. These are the most I've seen at the show, or so on and so forth on that part of it. And so, just with them becoming more popular and people more invested and interested in those things, I really enjoy that, and I'm happy. Some people might fret and see, oh my gosh, the numbers are climbing, so that means obviously numbers climb, and so then maybe there's more people breeding. So then does that bring down the overall dollar and stuff? And I think it's just it goes
Yeah,
correlates
but
all back to each
there's a
other.
sweet spot, right? There's got to be a
Yes,
sweet spot for all that, the amount of reptiles. Obviously,
yeah.
ball pythons are oversaturated. Um, Maybe at some point because of the shed testing, that'll get that all kind of lined out and not be so bad from what, everybody's saying. So
Yeah.
with on that note, okay, you're into this working with your leeches. Phil, is there any, or do you even know? I mean, are they doing any shed testing on that yet? Or I didn't bring that up to Charlie when we spoke to him, or maybe that's something they're going to get into.
So I actually asked Charlie about that. And oh my gosh, what is, oh my goodness, RGI? What is his name? I can't think of it off the top of my
Darian?
head.
No, not Darian. That's Morph Market. What's
Yeah,
RGI?
Ben,
Ben.
that's it. Yeah. So I've talked to both of those two about it. So the part that makes it hard is so it's locality based, not not genetic, like where we have blue eyes, green eyes, or you have Mojave, you have Crystal, you have Special, you have butter, you have all these different like. So the hard part is they're not bringing from New Caledonia. There's no wild caught or that are being brought in. So Steve at Leap and Leachy has a really nice collection of stuff that maybe if he could get access to it there and be able to run some sheds on that end of it, would be helpful. But he was just worried about how much of then like, okay, so this is the one we're going by. So this person here is setting the standard of this is what a
Yeah.
pure. So it muddies the water. And for anybody who's listening, locale, think of like you're going to go get a dog. Do you want the whole like AKC registered pedigree type thing, or is, hey, I got a puppy, it's a lab, it might have something else, or I'm pretty sure it's a lab, or it is a lab, it doesn't have any papers. There's several different areas in that, and in that you want a mutt, you want a purebred, you want this. And so that kind of sways, and it's very interesting coming across people who are into Leachianus geckos and know about them. Because for me, I set pretty much even kill. I think the mixed localities. Can you explain the
The
different colors?
coloration differences.
So think of so the bright colors that you're seeing. Those are sought from the Nuana, Nuami, your Bras, those smaller localities have that color impact.
Okay.
And if you think about polygenic breeding, line breeding, things that you're looking for the babies that have really nice color, really nice saturation to them, you want to make those your holdbacks, raise those up, and breed it to another really nice. And you're just trying to get those colors. But I I have pairs that they're just, one is super pale, like no barring or anything, just some little dots running down its back, and the other one has a little bit of barring, uh, but they produce lime green and pink babies. But they don't
Yeah.
have any. They don't have any lime green or pink on them, which makes it really weird. Um, but the thing is, like, some people kind of, I think, at times people get hung up on the pure locality section, and for me, I don't. You got to vet people and people you're trusted. If you think back before shed testing, where you're buying your heads from. Are
Right.
you buying them off Craigslist, or are you buying them off Morph Market? And so just knowing and vetting and understanding what someone has to offer and knowing who they are and their collection is very important. Yes, that exactly spot
Okay.
on with your gargoyles right there. Because gargoyles, I think I want to say they're on Pines and GT, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's just one or the other. But like, there's no, you're looking for traits and you're looking for things that stick out to you as babies or adults and stuff like that you want to carry. You see some deep reds or these oranges or a nice six stripe that's going through that you want to have with it. Yeah, no, same exact process there on that. But the I like we're all human. The people that went over to New Caledonia and gathered and were gathering field collecting lychees at the time. So you had the islands, you had Morrow, you had Nuana, you had Pine Island, you had Bras, you had Bayonnaise, and then you get to GT. Uh, Originally in the lay of the land for GT, it was GTA, GTB, and GTC. GTA is a beefy gecko, um, with a little bit of patterning. Okay, or no, GTA is a beefy gecko with yeah, just a little bit of patterning. A GTB is a beefy gecko with big bars, nice patterning to it. GTC is a very long, elongated gecko with heavy patterning. Well, then over the years, they refined that and broke it down into more regions to where you have Mount Cogus, Mount Humble, Point Minier, uh, in those aspects. But the tricky part is, okay, I pick up said lychee. I put it in tub one. Maybe I put it in the wrong. Maybe I put this lychee in the wrong tub, but now it's considered this type of gecko when in actuality it wasn't that. And I'm not saying people that happen, but we're human. Humans make mistakes. I
Oh
make them.
yeah, yeah. Mistakes
I
happen. Yeah.
I leave doors unlocked and tubs open sometimes on something. And I'm like, oh crap, I gotta find this gecko or the snake real quick or whatever. And so I just don't feel that if you're looking for that pure or being on a pedestal that, oh, it has to be a pure or this or whatever. I just think in the hobby that's super hard to find. There are people that have stuff like that, and I would believe them 100% because they're not going to pass disinformation. Um, and getting
Yeah, exactly, Phil. That's what I'm getting that too. The
yes,
chondro locality
yes,
different. Yeah, the same type of
yes,
vibes exactly as with
yep.
the Leachianas.
And
Okay,
like with the chondros, like you really can't differentiate from this one being A and this one being B. Like,
correct.
and what's the large
What's the biggest?
so your GT, so GT stands for Grand Terre, which is the main island. New Caledonia is an archipelago. It's about 14 to 16 islands that make it all up and stuff. If my hand is Australia, let's see, I'm going to probably do this wrong because I'm on the screen here.
Then do the
I,
opposite.
it, it's over.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's over
you're
here.
somewhere. You're right there.
Yeah,
There.
it's right up here because down here is New Zealand and stuff like that.
Yes,
And so up here is where you're going to find New Caledonia. I was excited last summer during Shark Week because I absolutely love Shark Week.
dude. Shark Week
They,
rules.
they were out in the waters just outside New Caledonia and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, that's flipping sweet, dude. Like,
So are you ever going to try to visit New Caledonia, or have you been?
I have not been. That would be like super cool to go there. As far as like being able to like go herp and go look, I don't know how all that breaks down. I remember I've seen some videos and talked to like I've talked to Dave a couple times about it, like his adventures, Dave Kaufman, about his adventures out there and stuff, and just like getting permission and things like that for going over there. But it'd be cool just to visit the habitat where a
Yes.
species that I really work with and really enjoy are from. I think it was probably like early fall. I think I looked one time. We were at a show on a weekend, and oh, Dave's a hoot, man.
Dave's awesome.
We did a barbecue video when he was in Kansas City for a reptile show for his Dave Eats the World channel. Yes, let's go. Let's do it. I'm down. um, but yeah, no. Where was I going? I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Sorry.
You was at a show. You was at a show, and you pulled something up about. I'm going.
Oh, I was just looking. It was like I think it was like 2,500 or something like that for like a round trip there or
Yeah,
something.
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, tickets and like I think the place I looked at like came with like a place for to stay. I'm like, that's not too bad. Like I'm sure obviously there's some different details. I just quickly glanced at it. I'm like, oh, that's cheaper than I thought it was gonna say. So, but yeah, no, that's where I'm at. I'm in a mid stage where I'm adventuring to try to find that next reptile. Because I have a wide variety of reptiles. As I said, we do reptile educational presentations. So I have roughly probably 120 from babies to adults Leachianus geckos. I have a couple tegus. I have some black dragons. I have a couple retics, a berm, a couple anacondas. I have leopard geckos. My son has some bearded dragons. My daughter has a bearded dragon. So all jokes aside, I would say probably like outside. We have our gecko room, we have our reptile room downstairs. But then when you're upstairs, there's reptiles in the front room that I like. My Asian water monitor and stuff like that. Like I like them in the front room because that allows them to see people. Redfoot tortoise. Ooh, good question. Yeah. So as they see people, so the movement helps out really well there and doesn't make them as skittish and very used to that kind of change, which worked out really well. So tortoises, I have some adults. Trying to get them to cycle is a pain in the butt. The cooling down process is very important from them. And so I'm still trying to master that and figure out how that whole process plays out. I would love to be able to produce some redfoots for myself, but at the table I have some connections where I can get some redfoots in stuff from some friends and stuff when they have extras, which make it nice. You were speaking about how you're doing your first show this weekend, and a little
Yes.
variety on the table doesn't hurt. And so That's just another piece that
That
allows,
that's what we've been that's what we've been hearing. Variety is key. Have some
yeah,
variety. So
just
now
so
that I'm
yeah.
learning this going forward,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, making connections and having different, maybe you can pick some stuff up and or on that end. But yeah, variety and just being able to, we try to have the redfoot tortoises, we try to have bearded dragons. I maybe a couple snakes. I have my ball pythons I can breed and stuff. I have a friend in Minnesota that we usually work out a deal, and he doesn't do many shows, and I travel a little bit for shows. And so
Just a little.
I think I put like what we were at 90. I think I put like 55,000 miles on our car last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how
And
many
I
shows
would
was
say
that?
like, ooh, I would say at least 16 to 18 shows. I went from one weekend, I went Atlanta, stayed out on the East Coast, went to a Charlotte show, and then came back home. And then a few weeks later, I drove all the way down and went, or no, a few weeks before, I went to Daytona just for fun. I go to Daytona show just to network, because that's another thing. I think it's truly important when you're vending. It's so hard to leave your table to go network, talk, see the show, stuff like that. Have you a couple shows a year that you can go to and you can enjoy networking and talking and not have the ball and chain of, I need to get back to my table because I need to be there for my customers, have them asking questions or to sell something or to. And
Okay.
it's
Okay.
not the sales that you take. It's not the sales that you may get at the show, but it's the people that meet you and are interested, that are interested in what you have or you as the person and want to get to know you more, that reach out afterwards. Like, I really want to get a reptile from them.
So
I
so on
should,
that note, right back into this education thing, right? We kind of leading back to the show
yeah.
here. Because we've been hearing this too. So you're saying definitely the peak, right? Don't be just sitting in like you see people doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that. Get up there and PR and
Where
educate, right?
you got
So
this number
so
here.
what you're saying is your favorite part of the show is the education.
Yeah. For the, yeah, just, uh, yes, because well, yeah, that and seeing my friends that maybe I only see regionally, being able to see them and hang out with them for the weekend. Uh, but once the show starts, I mean, I I'm there. It's a grind. I drove 22 hours to go to California to go to a Pomona show. Like, I'm not gonna go there and do this no.
Dude, you're putting in the work like Bob Vu did his first year hitting show, 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 show. I mean, you're putting it in, putting
I
miles on the
appreciate. Yeah,
car.
no, like I want to I want to meet people. I want to talk to people. The hair kind of stands out a little bit, so you may not know who I am, but you might recognize me from maybe this YouTube or a different YouTube video
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
on or whatever. And I think that goes a long way. And just being, I don't know a stranger. I'll talk to anybody. My wife absolutely hates that, because if we're trying to go somewhere or we're trying to leave the show, or trying to, I'm over here talking to somebody, or I'm talking to this person, or like yesterday I was at the store and I saw somebody, I got talking to them for a second, and it's never like a hi bye type thing. But that in this hobby, that personality I feel has helped me very much, in being able to network and talk and communicate and talk to all different walks of life as they come up to our table and asking questions or interested in something, whether it's they're interested now or they're interested later. Someone asked a question about tegus being tame, or
Yeah.
or iguanas and stuff like that. So my biggest thing on that part, if you're ever interested in getting one, make sure you look up and see how big they're going to get, because those things don't stay small. But then the oh, thanks, appreciate it. I appreciate it, Phil. But the we have baby rhinos right now. Oh, you asked about if we breed rhinos. So I have a pair growing up. I was lucky enough when we went to Daytona, to go over to Iguana Land, to Ty Park's place, and check that place out. Absolutely beautiful. If you're ever in Florida, go check out. It's like an hour and 20 minutes south of Tampa. Absolutely beautiful.
We'll talk
Amazing,
we'll talk
amazing,
about
amazing
the
place.
rhinos a little bit. Would that be Because that right, we get this a lot too on whatever platform we're hanging out
Yeah.
on. What would be a good iguana to start out with, or what would be that to start
Yeah.
out? So
No,
would a
hey, let me
rhino
grab one real
iguana
quick.
be,
Yeah.
for beginner, intermediate? What would you say? Maybe talk about a little husbandry. Yeah, maybe get into that a little bit on some of them, or some of the idiosyncrasies you might, educate on.
Yeah, no. So like with your rhinos and stuff, I'm just grabbing one real quick. Sorry, the cage is literally right next to me, so I can grab one. So these guys here, um, they are these are green. Oh, green. They're so much harder, but they're $25. They're $15 at a table. So why don't I buy that? Because this
Right,
guy's
that's what I'm alluding to.
so this guy here is, you see him online from 350 to $500 to $600 or whatever. It's just a nice little female here. Work the camera right.
Yeah,
But
right there.
she's a little skittish at moments, but the biggest thing is creating positive threads, creating positive ties um, with those animals, whether it's a tegu, whether it's an iguana, or a monitor of some sort. Those animals need that interaction because if you think of when they're born in the wild, they're small or smaller than this when they're born because these guys here are about 5 months old. That everything's trying to eat them. We are a big predator. We're a big unknown to them, and so they are worried. So they're skittish, and they're not going to immediately be your friend. And so whether it's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending how long like you feel that you have the time for, or what they are tolerating. You don't want to stress them out. Chasing them all over their cage isn't a good thing, but like I went in there, it kind of scurried a little bit, and I waited a second and I grabbed it. And that kind of goes back to the same thing for Leachianus geckos, real quick. They can be considered cage aggressive. For me, I tie that into yes, they do like to bite sometimes, um, but the biggest thing on that is I I don't provide any full cork rounds. I provide halves and I provide flats. So there's no place in their cage that I can't access that they can get to and build up that aggression. Like it can't get into a little cork bark hollow and be like, oh, I'm not coming out of here. This is not me today. No, sorry,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, yeah. You're
I
not letting him put himself in a situation where he can always be in fight or flight mode and
yeah,
create
and
some bad habits.
A lychee or a tokay bite? Ooh, I would definitely say a lychee. Like tokays, I've been bit by the bite force isn't as strong, but like I just think because that lychee has that bigger body to it, that weight of that bite is a little like I've had tokays hold on longer. I feel though, like any lychee I've gotten bit by, it bites and it lets go, or it does like the repeated bite over and over for a little bit. But the tokay loves to like, oh, I've got you, tag, you're it, and I'm not letting go. Um, but and that idea of the cork kind of started when I got into the breeding process because they kind of beat each other up a little bit on like the back of their heads and necks and stuff like that. So how do I be a responsible keeper and a breeder to make sure my animals are being safe? Just like if you breed king snakes or something like that, they can you have to watch them because the female can eat the male. Um, and and so just how do I break open a piece of round cork to know that my gecko's safe in there, or if it's hurt, how do I do that safely? And so that's where the idea came from. That I'm going to use halves and flats in here so I can check the safety of them
Right.
because they're not cheap. I enjoy these animals. Yes, I want them to produce eggs for me, but at this end of the day, like I want to take care of them and I enjoy them. They're not just an item to me. They're an animal. They have the right to enjoy all the fun pleasures of them being born into this world.
Yeah, they're your pet. They're on display. You want them to
Yeah,
look good. You're right. Absolutely. And enjoy them and not be all
yeah, and
scarred
so
up
that
and mangled up like they're like
yeah,
they're in a cockfighting ring.
yeah, no, and
Yeah,
so
I
and
get
so
that.
I kind of passed that down to my grow ups and my holdbacks and stuff, and I noticed that I don't. I have two geckos. One because he's my biggest gecko. I always want to make sure where he's at before I just go digging around. He's about 16 and a half inches long. He's about 415 grams. And then I have another one. He's not quite that big yet, but they're always chirping and barking and stuff like that. And so those are the only two out of all of my geckos that I feel that are aggressive-ish. And sometimes the aggressiveness can be just the fact that you move into a different cage and that whole aggression moves. Because I've had that happen. I've had one where I walk by it every time, and I know that's insane, isn't it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you start thinking about grams and weight wise and things like, it's absolutely insane how big that is. Um, and so you move it to a different cage and it does just fine. Like I had one, he was up on a higher part in our room, and he thought he was king of the castle. Well, I moved him down a little bit so he's more eye level. He doesn't do it anymore. He's just it's so weird. Just getting to know your animals and understand
You
them.
put him in check is what it was.
Yeah.
Hey, bud, I'm the king. I feed you.
Right.
Right? Breathe. Right? Get your zen on. Positive energy over here at the Epic
Right.
Style.
No. Yeah. And so let me see. Let me do. Let me go this way real quick. Let me see.
Dude, this is awesome.
Um.
So, what's the lifespan on the rhinos in captivity?
So
Give or take.
I would say you're looking at an animal that's going to live 20 plus years. No problem.
That's pretty solid. Is there any, like, okay, because you're working with different geckos and different
Mhm.
iguanas? Is there anything you're seeing? We know there's a lot of misinformation out there with any type of reptile, in this hobby.
Right.
What would be something you would like to clear up? Like keeping, or maybe even let's say diet wise. That's a big one
Uh,
right there, right? People want to feed certain species of lizards, um, maybe not the appropriate diet.
so for us, if you buy a lychee from me, it has never seen an insect in its life, which is okay. We feed Pangea. You can feed Rapashi as well on that end. But when I got into it, I tried to tong feed. I tried to have roaches or crickets in the enclosure for them every once in a while as just something different. As just something different. And didn't have much luck on that end of it. And so reached out to the person I got, the breeder I got my lychees from, and then would ask a couple people at the shows when I saw them that I was comfortable with asking on that part. And the biggest thing they told me was insects aren't, it's not bad not to feed. The biggest thing you want to make sure is on your Pangea or your Apache, or whether you're doing the new, I don't know, it starts with an L, and then there's also leaping leeches. Make sure you're feeding the ones that are complete diets for them. The complete diet formulas are the ones that are going to give them all their nutrients, all their insect intake, all that stuff that's going to make sure that they're getting the nutrients that's required for them to grow properly. So you're not ending up with like MBD or, yes, that one.
Yeah,
Good job.
Lagarde. Yeah.
Yes. Uh, so you're not ending up with calcium deficiencies or anything on that note. And so uh, I've haven't noticed anything weird, different, abnormally. Haven't had somebody reach out to me about, hey, I got a gecko from you. It's just not growing right or anything on that part. Um, and so I, I think I like it's nice. You don't have to worry about breeding an insect or whatever. Like the part of snakes, like I have snakes. Me and a buddy has snakes. We breed rats together. Once a week, we have to go clean these things. We have to make a couple times. We got to make sure they got food and water and stuff. And so that takes one step out of the equation, which makes it very nice and easy. What do they eat in the wild? So they eat a
Where
lot
are
of
they in the
figs.
wild?
They eat figs. They eat insects in the wild on that part of it, and they'll also eat cresteds. And they're known to possibly eat like babies and so hatchlings and stuff like that of their own species as well. Um, I've seen people, not seen, I've heard people or talked to people that like cresteds randomly drop their tails for no rhyme or reason sometimes, and I've seen people feed like drop tails to adult Leachianus geckos and stuff there
Right.
on that part. Let's see. Let me
Right,
go.
exactly. How are we back to chondro talk? Feed Cresties to leashes and no doubt. It's crazy. And it really, he's right. And how a lot of this stuff can cross over, what you do in your hobby versus what Phil is doing with his chondro hobby, you know,
Yeah.
as feed wise. Oh, dude.
Sorry, my lighting in here is terrible.
No. He's cool. There you go. So the ease of Pangea, just like you're saying, right? Feeding Pangea or something like that, a
Yeah,
complete diet,
I
formulated
it
diet,
just
just
it works out really well. You go for like runny ketchup consistency in your base and stuff like that. During the winter, I probably feed probably every 4 to 5 days. During the warmer months, I probably feed every 3 to 4 days. They just kind of slow down and aren't as receptive to the food. Okay, so speaking of warm and cold and all that stuff, so I don't run a UVB. Don't run any. I have an ambient ran room here that we're in. It stays between 72 and 77 roughly. Usually when I turn on my thing to look at it on my phone, it's about 74 and a half or so. I have my warnings to go off if it gets above 87 and if it gets below 65. But I also am dorky and have several different islands in New Caledonia saved on my weather on my phone. So I can look at the weather any particular day or whatever. I'm like, oh, what's it
so
doing
you're
there
really
right
trying to
now?
emulate that and know if I'm in this range, we're good to go.
Yeah, and I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I've seen it
That's awesome.
as high as like 89 there. Yesterday it got up to 87. They're in the southern hemisphere, so they're enjoying summer right now. And then I've seen it as low as like the mid 50s there. So
Yeah, but it's
they can
okay, right? If it gets hot because they can take cover and they're going to go get where
right,
they
and
need to
it's
get to cool down.
exactly. So when it's 90 when it's 89, 88, 89 there, you got to think they're in the forest, they're under the canopy, they're that direct sunlight isn't pinned. They have the humidity that's going there for them. But it's not they're not out basking on direct sunlight and stuff
Right.
on that part. Let me
Okay,
find
so so you got your room temp dialed in. He asked earlier about incubation times. So
oh
talk about
that's
that time and temp. You kind of covered the temp range, but is there
yeah.
like a certain temp you want to just maintain, and then
I
what's your
really
day
wish this would
range for
show up.
egg incubation?
So egg incubation, roughly, I would say is anywhere between 70 to 110 days.
Okay,
I've incubation temperature my first couple years, I ran about 75, 76. I slowly started turning up the dial because I was female heavy, and for me, the cheapest way for me to get more geckos is to produce them myself. Obviously, it's always nice and it's always fun and exciting buying a reptile for a project from somebody at a show, um, and stuff on that regard. But it's not like leopard geckos where like you push the volume, hilarious. You push the
turn the
temperature
heat
up,
up, yeah,
you
and
turn
get
the
more
heat,
males.
you get more males. Not that simple, unfortunately.
Okay,
Um, it's I would say it's probably a 57-43 difference maybe in your female to male ratio. And do you have experience with Burmation basically? So I I cool for Burmation. I cool the room when I'm going to add new pairs because that's the best time to add new pairs together. So I will cool the room 2 weeks before. I will cool it for 2 weeks after, and by cooling it, I'll run my heater down in here. That I'll move it down to like 68, 69, and make sure the room's staying between a 65 to 71 range for me cooling it down so that when I introduce the pairs and stuff like that, and my pairs live once if they bond, and once they bond, they are together all season around. I don't separate and then reintroduce. Life's busy, and I don't want to get busy and not pair them back up and then miss a breeding season or a cycle or whatever on that end of it. I have friends and know people that do actually um, unbond and then rebond and
right.
just if it's a pair I'm cool working with, they're going to stay together. Like this year, we had a bunch of different we went from having 11 or 12 pairs, I think, to we're at 20 this year. And this was just stuff. This stuff that hit this year was stuff that I invested in when I when I realized that I really like this and I really enjoy it. And so I took it to that next factor, that next level there. I'll show you the size of a baby here real quick.
Stepping his game up.
Let's see. Well, first, can you find
Heck
it on a
yeah,
piece of
man.
cord?
Yeah, they're being goofy.
Let's see. I'm gonna go here, and then little finger hugger.
So what do you feel? Yeah, dude, cute. So what do you feel your success rate is? Like percent?
Um,
I mean, I don't know how. Like, do
that
you even
hatch
worry about
out
that, or you're just pairing and just like, let's just
success
have
rate,
fun?
or as like geckos that hatch, like eggs I
Let's
get, they
yeah,
hatch
like
out,
you're
but
so
like
so
there's
say
girls
right,
that
you
get
got
pair up
10
and they,
pairs or 20 pairs, right? What's your
yeah.
success rate on babies?
Let's see. So I'll break it down to the part of, okay, I said last year we had 11, 10 to 12, somewhere in there. I know for sure that one of those pairs I never got a single egg from. Like whether they weren't beating each other up. They must have been best friends because I separated them this year and they're now with two different, they each have a new friend. Um, and and that happens. I mean, it's part of the
That
game, part of
happens.
the understanding and stuff like that. You got there's three different outcomes, basically, or that's more than three, but okay, you can pair them up and they like each other, which is what we all want. And then the next one is you pair them up and they have a tiff. Now, the tiff, the hard part is where do you draw the line because they are aggressive to some nature. What is too much and what is not too much? What How do I care for my animal that doesn't have a voice to tell me, hey, this is too much, Dad? Like, get me out of here. So understanding that and knowing my limits of where I want to go, because at the end of the day, I don't care. You don't if you don't. I would love for you two to. I put you two together for a reason. So I would love to see babies from you. But at the end of the day, I I love opening the tub and just seeing you. So don't take that
Right,
away from
right,
me.
there, right, exactly.
And
There you go. I
and
like to hear
yeah,
that.
and so we'll move on to the next one. And then the other one, you can have them be aggressive, but then they're producing babies. That's when the hardest part is because then how do I know exactly? I'm over here and I'm trying to be a good dad, but you're being a
So some
bad
of their
kid.
body language and behavior is very hard to interpret.
Yes. And then you get ones that they're best friends.
Yeah.
They're not intimately involved. They're best friends and they hang out together and they don't do anything but hang out next to each other and love it, but they're just best friends. And that happens. And it happens where there's geckos that are best friends that are not best friends, that they don't have a mark on them and they produce just fine. Like I do notice that the GTs, they're more of the ones that can be a little bit more physical, or a little more aggressive at times. Your
Naughty
males are
style there, Phil.
usually
Naughty style.
the sexual dimorphic section. Usually, your males are gonna be that bigger. I like my males to be bigger because usually, in talking and stuff and getting to understand this hobby and my animals is the lady wants to run that relationship. She can bring the pain, so I like to have my males bigger so that they can take a little bit of abuse. And what's your minimum size enclosure for a breeding pair? So I like to use. I have some. I have some 18 or what is this? Is a 36 by 18 by 36. Um, so these are, man, they like to poop on the glass. This one, there we go. But they like it's two 18 put together that can fit together and become one cage. Hilarious, Phil. uh, and then I also, for humidity reasons, I just, it sounds dorky and it sounds silly. Um, the PVC caging, sometimes I just don't feel like it holds that humidity, that moisture in there. I see that they get dehydrated, quite eyes sunken in a little bit, more wrinkly skin than usual. I like the setup of like your totes. The totes work really well. They hold a lot of humidity in. Those are the 200 quarts, which it's the 200 quarts, which are basically a 36 by 18 by 18 in there. I have like the vents all on there and stuff. And so that works out really well for my breeding pairs on that size of it. And then I just use my old snake rack, and I've made shift tubs and stuff like that. Your shoebox totes that all my babies and stuff, my grow outs kind of go into. Let's see.
So see, you're just proving right there, again, as Phil and I talk about and show, as well as other people in the hobby, you can get into this, leeches or geckos, period, whatever type you want, without breaking the bank. Using your
No. Be
sterilite or Rubbermaid totes, whatever you want
right.
to, put together.
Be smart.
Phil's even done that with chondros.
Be smart
and made
and
some really nice enclosures for his green trees to go in.
Yeah,
so.
and think about your animal and make sure like you're not like are you would you if you were this animal, would you want to be in this? Is this respectable? On that end of it. But yeah, like there's some like people outside of the hobby, or sometimes some people in the hobby don't understand snake racks, stuff like that, and they have a hard time seeing that. But this guy here. This is a Yate Poiminier Mike Conley Darkmore, so he's going to be a big dark gecko.
Yeah, it is.
He's out of here.
He's gone.
Right, he's paired up with another female of mine that she has a real nice dark body as well. So I'm trying to produce some dark. This is my first pairing that it's going to be a darker look instead of that color aspect, that expression you're looking for. Kind of want to see what their babies look like if I can get some from them on that point and stuff.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see what comes of that.
Yeah. So they've been together since the middle-ish of November is when I did my pairing up for this year. They've had a couple tiffs, but nothing that I feel is reason to dissolve the relationship. Are yates typically bigger? Yes, yates are big. Let me see if I can find my yate boy. My female is not ready. I'll show you the female first.
Dude, this is awesome.
Hey, come back here. Don't run from me.
Phil, I'm glad I didn't call in sick today. I get to look at these cool leechion. Man, this is awesome.
They do like to poop on you sometimes.
And you got to be over there quiet.
It is a bummer. We'll have to come back and do this all over again. It's a bummer.
We got to do this again when your mic
works. Yeah, or hop on Facebook Live or Instagram Live or something like that and hang out or something. Like, yeah, no, definitely not the full effect going.
Forever, we miss you.
Yeah,
not really.
So this is a Yate female here. I got it from the Hampers. She is almost 3 years old. Your Yates usually take about 4 to 5 years for them to get to full size.
Well, how long does it take before a Yate reaches sexual maturity?
Your female's gonna take her probably roughly 5 to get there.
Okay, so you are 5 years on them. Okay.
Yeah, and then your male, obviously he doesn't have to carry eggs and stuff like that, so our job's a little bit easier. Sorry, I'm looking for my male.
Males are probably 3 years time frame, huh?
Yeah, your males in that 3 year time frame, they're pretty good, pretty ready to go on that part. Let's see.
Are you looking at more of just like the 3 year maturity thing, or is there like a weight and size thing that you like to look for?
So I like to look. Health? Weight and size are important for me, and that goes back to like locality based. Your island geckos, your Nuana, your Nuami, your Bras, those type of geckos, your Moros, a full grown. Let's see, also I can find. All right, so Franklin. We'll get Franklin out too. Sorry. Come here, buddy. Thank you. And so I'm going to grab Franklin, and I'm going to grab Big Yeti. If I can find them.
Guys, thanks for everybody watching today. Again, thanks for coming through. I know Phil's been giving a shout out to our sponsors out there who's been sponsoring the Naughty Business Show. We appreciate all y'all. Again, thanks for coming through. There we go, having a ball, Herp and Harbins. Who else have we got, Phil? Keep them coming. Anybody that's followed us from over to TikTok to here, Rhonda, we appreciate it. Tanya, Jen, everybody, thanks for coming through.
So this is Franklin. This is Big Yeti. Franklin is still a little bit bigger than Big Yeti here. Big Yeti is my Yate male. Eventually, he's going to pair up.
Big Yeti the Yate.
Yep. Eventually, he's gonna pair up with Kraken. Was the female I showed you? Gonna pair up there, and hopefully make some nice Yate babies on that end. But this gecko here is my biggest gecko that we have currently. But yeah, no. Ugh.
Get him.
Yeah, no.
Dude, they're so cool.
Let's see. You go here. Make sure I put these guys back in the right tub. That'd
what?
be terrible.
What's the matter with you, Phil? Planks. Oh, playing charades. Get with it. He's finding one, guys. He's finding one. Hang with us here. Hang with us. Leachianuses are coming. What do we dread sight? Yeah. Who do we got next week, Phil, while he's in there digging out some Leachianus? Throw something up. Let's look at Phil's technical expertise.
There you go. Here's a nice little Pine Island. It's a little smaller locality. They have nice little bars, nice banding.
Yeah, I like the banding on him. That's really cool. Is it kind of whitish or pinkish?
It's white when he so they have a fired up and a fired down stage. When he's fired down, he's more of like a lime green with more visible white bars. When he fires up, his white bars kind of have like a pink ring around them, if that makes any sense there. And then in here, let's see.
Balls of Fury, guys, next week. Put the word out. Naughty Business Live. Be there.
Oh, yeah, Jen and Jason. There we go.
Oh yeah, Balls of Fury. Those guys are awesome.
And then so like, if we downside, I wish I would have kept the other gecko out with me so you could see it. But like, this gecko is basically the size of my palm here. This is a smaller locality of type gecko instead of being a GT. Just the size difference, where you have like the Chihuahua of this of this version and stuff there, which kind of makes it fun and exciting. There, it's like a pocket lychee.
There you go, guys. Get you a pocket lychee. Right? That's going to be the hot thing coming, right? You just started something right now, pocket lychee.
Let's see.
Dude, Balls of Fury, this is cool. Let's see, what else we got? Y'all keep the questions coming. I had something else I was going to ask, but I lost train of thought once I seen those cool animals.
So, here's a pair here. This guy here. Hey, come back here. I'm back here. This is a Bros locality. He's a nice little light green, with some pinkish tint to his white bars. And then this one is a Nuana here. This one I got from a good friend. This one here we produced in-house. She hatched out looked very different from her siblings that had all hatched out
Mm.
before her. So I put her on the side with a little, sticker that said, "Hey, watch this one grow for a bit," and she hasn't disappointed. So excited to see productions that we've produced here that are now coming into fruition and being able to have a chance to kind of enjoy that. What possibilities, what kind of surprises do they make and stuff on that end of it. There on
So
that end.
talking about that, right? You're waiting on some of these new clutches to come out. So going forward, okay. Right, I know you're into this and you're in it for the long haul, and we can respect that, man. We appreciate that. Um,
Yeah, no, I
so
mean
so
it's
so where do you, I mean, so where do you see yourself going forward? I mean, what other steps you want to take to maybe set yourself apart, from the other hobbyists or keepers, or I mean, what do you want to do
for
bigger
me.
than you're
So
doing now, maybe?
yeah, no, so like I kind of started talking about that, and then we got to talking and questions and sidetracked a little bit. And for me, I'm at the phase where um, I really I really want to find another gecko species that I enjoy, that I like, that's something I want to work with. Because right now, really, like I have the Leachianus geckos, I have some colubrids, I have some ball pythons. I breed them every now and then. It's more of like, I think I'll breed this just to sell a few of them or whatever. But they're more for me. The other animals I have are I enjoy them. I enjoy opening their tub. I enjoy caring for them. And then I use a lot of different things. So for our educational presentations and stuff. So it's not just the same animal going over and over again and getting tired on that part.
Right.
So I really like the, oh my gosh, what is it? Salabrosis, or it's the Australian rough throat gecko. It's a leaf tail type looking gecko. Um, it gets roughly as an adult probably a good 10 to 12 inches long. So it's another bigger type gecko, but it's not as bulky as of a body as your lychee.
Okay.
They're an insect eater. But as far as like keeping and temperatures and all that stuff for them, exact same as Leachianus geckos. So that there resonates with me that, okay, I just expand my room a little bit, change a couple things around. I can have this half of the room. Those, yes, the
Yeah.
the spiky tail, oh my gosh, those are so cool. What did I see one? Oh, I saw a couple on Phil Trimper's table. He's two spots up from me at Tinley. He had some. It was the first time I'd seen him in person a couple years ago, and I had been looking at them and seeing them and thought they were super neat. So seeing them in person was absolutely fascinating. Um, but so trying to get those and figure out, like I've talked to Brian Susan over at Sundown Reptiles. um, Phil also has some, and then I have a friend in St. Louis that he has some too, I believe. So just trying to figure out which route I want to go. Or the biggest thing at the time when I first reached out, they had some, but they were unsexed, and I was like, well, no, my luck, if I buy some, it's going to be like both males or something like that or whatever. So I would kind of hope to like to buy either some juveniles or some sub adults, just so I'm not so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's just like going back and talking about the ball python section. That's one thing I learned: spend the money. The only cheat code you got, not only, but the biggest cheat code you can use is money to skip time. And time, being on the front end of something and being on the back end of something, are two different details.
You're dang right. We're learning that for sure.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
it's just it's huge. Were you one of the first few people that was doing acid clown stuff or whatever? Are you doing acid clown or whatever the popular, and that hitting
But
more
even if you
surely? It's
can't, but
yeah,
right, but even if you can't jump in like you're saying, because maybe you don't have the liquid in your, to
right. You
do
don't have
it,
the ability. Yeah,
still get into it and have fun anyway, right? Find
right.
something that excites you and
Exactly.
sparks
No,
that,
and
and just
that's the biggest thing right there. Is you said find something that excites you and sparks you. Whether you're just keeping, and then keeping turns into breeding, on that aspect of it. And like I had no interest when I first got it. Everybody comes into this hobby at a different place and in a different form or a different thought process. And I'm not gonna, if you came in just for the breeding aspect, that's cool. Like, just do it the right way and have fun and care for your animals. If you came into it on the pet side of it and then you just fell in love with it and you realize, hey, I kind of want to produce some stuff. Well, do you do you want to be just a nice little fun breeder where you're just doing small little things, or are you trying to scale it up to where you get to bigger things and have an idea and a plan so that you can kind of stair step that and look back on the where I have to take a step at and try to make that next jump. Because you can't stay stagnant. Staying stagnant isn't going to
Mm.
help you. Let's see about
Good question
host.
right there. Yeah, that was
Oh,
kind of get into the
yeah,
education way back. We missed that. Yeah, hosting some of your your reptile experience
yeah.
parties.
So,
Get into that.
yeah. So that was one thing I saw the need for an area that we didn't have something like that. So I was like, well, because so reptiles is my full time. Well, homeschool my oldest, and then reptiles is my full time job for providing and for my family and stuff like that. Uh, so it's really neat on that aspect. So I had to think of like what are ways I going to a show every weekend isn't reasonable or maintainable or whatever on that aspect. What are things that I can do that will allow me to still create money, have something come in on that aspect, and um, being and that kind of clicked when I saw different things and from YouTube, from different websites and stuff, and started researching how about going. What's the proper way of doing this? How do I how do I advertise it? How do I share this knowledge? And one of the biggest things, I have some friends in Tulsa that they said, nobody's going to ever be 100% right. Share the knowledge that you know that is true and the knowledge that you know is out there. If someone ever asks you a question of why is it this or what's that, if you don't know it, just be honest. It's okay to not know it. Like, you don't have to tell a 10-year-old that, oh, it does this because of that. And then a 10-year-old probably has a phone or an iPad or something. They could Google it and realize, oh, Mr. Chris lied to me. That's weird. Like, so,
Unless he
uh,
finds that lick of information that's not right either. So
right. No, that 100% true as well. And that's the other thing is like, know your information, understand, and I've been thankful to be around the hobby and have great friends and be able to know a lot of different things about stuff. And for like the kids and on that aspect, they're into some knowledge, but if you put too much knowledge out there, you get that glossed over look and you've lost them. They're there for the animal. They want to be able to like we've partnered with our local library here. Starting this is our third or fourth session with them. So starting in March, I'll be hitting our local libraries again, doing a 45-minute segment at several different branches where they can I talk a little bit about it and then
mm.
me and my wife, or me and my usually my son goes with me. Sometimes if it's in the evening, all four of us go and stuff. And I think it's important that I love that I don't force my son to do it, but I enjoy that he likes going out. And I sometimes he's like, hey bud, I need you to go with me. There's just going to be a lot of people at this thing, so having two animals going at one time works really well. And I think kids seeing kids involved, parents seeing kids involved with reptiles and doing those type of things breaks down that stereotype or that mindset that these are dangerous or these can be or they're hard to care for or just whatever you might that thought you might have that disposition, it might erase that when you
do,
see
do,
my 5-year-old, 6-year-old, or whatever at the time when she comes by and she's holding a ball python or she's holding a bearded dragon and like your kid's 14 and you're like, oh, we can't have those or whatever,
So do you
And so
have
that
right what you're saying right there? Do you have like like I take snakes? I'm not just going to let any kid hold this particular snake. Okay,
right.
maybe this is one better for kids to hold. So do you
Hmm.
have a specific set of animals you use for your educational experiences like that? Your parties,
Oh yeah,
or do
no,
you just kind
definitely.
of see what
So
they want, and then you pick? Okay, these are the ones that I
um
got. How do you do that?
So, like, if you were to go to our website, I have animals in this house that aren't party animals. That unfortunately, like, I had you and that you were just a food responsive animal. Like at the time, I didn't do the
Right.
hold you, get you out, spend the time, or like that you get an animal and it's just, hey, I like to be in here, and this is where I like to be. Okay, and but on our website, when you go there and you go to book, we have two different party formats. We have an hour long party. We have another party that's an hour and 35 minutes long. It's our little epic and our big style. And on there, it kind of highlights. I don't list exactly what animals because I don't want something to happen to where an animal's not. I don't think an animal's feeling well. I don't think
Right,
this
right.
animal's it's stressed out from the ride there or whatever. I list off possibilities, and then for our big program, I do state like I'll bring one of our tegus or a monitor, and then our bigger snake or something. I'll bring I'm gonna. 'Cause I want to entice you to buy the bigger package. There's some big things that come with it or whatever. Um, but but on that regard, like I've had people reach out and ask, "Hey, what are you bringing?" And I kind of give them like a rough idea. But I'm always saying like it's always subject to change, but there will be variety there and
Yeah,
stuff. And
you don't
I
want
have
somebody to be bummed out. Oh, he's gonna be bringing that one, and then it's
yeah,
not there, and they're
no, like and like
Chris,
the
Chris let us down today.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I get that, dude.
I
That's that.
I
Okay.
I've been there because they like we on our big style we have an alligator, um, and they saw that or whatever and thought that mom they saw it or mom and dad said something to them or whatever and they booked the small one and so I didn't bring that. That's part of the bigger package. And so they said something about it. I was like, oh, I don't have that with me. That's and so I felt really bad and if I had it with me, I gladly would have shared it with them. I don't really
Right.
care. Like at the end of the day, they're excited. They enjoy it. The pictures, the touching it. My favorite, the kids. Some of the kids, they're sometimes nervous about some things or whatever. But for the most part, kids don't know. Fear's a learned thing. Like you have to learn to not jump off the tallest swing or the tallest jungle gym why? Because you're going to get hurt. Well, oh, you can't pick up that snake because it's going to hurt any snake. Don't pick up that snake because any snake's going to hurt you, or this is going to hurt you, or that dog over there, it's mean. Well, is that dog mean? Oh, I don't know, but maybe. So let's leave it alone. And so you learn these different things without ever having like a
Dude,
real
that's been
on-campus
programmed into
experience.
our DNA for
Yeah,
thousands of years without us even speaking of it.
yeah, yeah.
Be
And
scared.
so
Be scared.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so my favorite part about when I do these shows is when the adults are interested and they want to check out our big boa or they want to check out our big berm or something like that because like oh you want to check it out because I was like I'll go through okay yeah blah 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 like
And then the
for
kids will
any
get
for
involved.
yes and the kids are usually already ready to go when I
Or
pull
they're
something
already
out.
involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're already ready to go, and then you see a mom or a dad in the back. I pull out a big berm, like, oh no, there's no way I'm going to do this or whatever. And they see everybody go by, and then eventually they kind of warm up to it, and they're like, let me touch it, and the next thing you know, they're holding one or something like that. And so, those breakthroughs for me are like some of my favorite memories when the adults, because sometimes it's harder. We're 25, 30, 40, 50 years old, and it's hey man, I got beliefs and I got a mindset like so and so is the greatest basketball player, and I'm not changing my mind. So for when someone changes their mind on something, it's cool that what I was doing and showcasing these animals in the right way really really played to them and brought them out of their shell, and that it makes you smile like happy feeling like yes, I got paid to go there. Yes, I got that, but I just enjoy it, man. Like it's
Right,
fun.
right. And it shows. And it shows. You show it when you talk about it. You can tell you really enjoy it. Your hobby and then what you're doing, right? Educating and having fun like that. I'd hire you in a heartbeat, dude. Come on, right? Bring it all. I want the triple throwdown package.
Right? No.
Is
Oh,
what we
Phil,
want.
I meant to post our picture together from St. Louis because you were in your Bills hoodie, and I meant to post it on my story, and I just got busy, and I've been really bad at social media lately. I think it's a little bit of like winterish, and
Dry
like
it up, Phil. Dry it up.
it's been winter, it's been slow, and I've just been busy with other things going on as well. And so, like, if you look at my social media, like probably since the St. Louis show, I've maybe posted like 10 times. There's been like 60 or 70 days in between there. So I need to get back on the grind of posting and doing things like that. But I wanted to change it and reach out to you or whatever. Because it was a heck of a game. I enjoyed it, leaving officials and all that other blah 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 that everybody else wants to talk to. Josh Allen scares me every time I play him. That man is a walking machine. So he's it'll eventually happen. You guys will break through, and it'll be glorious, and I'll be sad because I want Pat to hold Josh Allen without a ring and Joe Burrow. Yeah, no. Let me grab another animal for you real quick.
Dude, this is awesome, man. Been a good show. Very educational, right? We come in here not knowing anything, and we still don't know anything. No, we we know enough to know we don't know anything at all. Do your research, right? Do your homework, guys. Get into some cool leachianas, whatever it is you want to do. This is so cool, right? Reach out to Chris here for any questions.
Yeah,
Guaranteed,
well,
he's going to
I don't
help you
mind answering
out, get you
questions,
the
man.
animal you need or won't. Thank you
Oh
again
well,
for our
it's bullshit.
sponsors, Having a Ball, Herp and Harbins. Who am I forgetting? The extraordinary. Anyway, I'm always forgetting somebody else. It's coming through. I
So this
apologize.
this
Oh, Python Antics. Thank you, Python Antics. Yeah.
so this is Peaches. Peaches is our only Burmese python we have. I got her when she was a little under a year old. She'll turn 4 this summer. Um, but she is one of our favorite I just thought of her about we were talking about educational stuff. Um, but she's one of our favorites when we go out to different events and stuff like that for people to check out. Um, my daughter at the time was probably 5 or so. Yeah, 5. So she's 7 now. So it's always a hoot when she has this sucker around her neck and holding it, and for other people to see when we're at different events, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at that kid over there!" Like it's just the best. Like,
That's one thing I've
yeah.
noticed that everybody wants to see a big snake.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing or whatever reptile you're
Whether
keeping in your hobby, Phil and I both are getting this.
whether
What,
they want to hold, if they
what's the
want to
biggest
hold it or
reptile?
not.
What's the biggest snake you got? Phil,
Big-
keep it clean.
Yeah.
No, hey, Naughty Nation, it could get naughty over here. So,
My
right,
big
big snakes for the win.
I have a retic. She's probably close to 9.5 foot, probably. I've had her
Oh,
since
he
she
had
was.
to get the hook out, guys.
I did get the hook out.
Get a hook out.
I
He don't have the
I
Dreadnought special. I'm gonna have to market those.
okay. But then what do we? I'll get a bull snake out real quick. Hang on. She's probably pissed off. She's fast. You in here, sis? You ready?
Guys, what do you right? Keep it clean. What do y'all think so far, guys? Chris for the win. I guarantee it. I ever get me a lychee, I'm just gonna wait until you show up to Pomona and get one from you.
A rhino guana out today, out your way, out to Victorville.
Oh yeah, that's just couple
Yeah,
hours.
here's a bull snake, a hypo albino.
Yeah, bull snakes are cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
When I first got these, I got these as adults from a friend who was downsizing their collections. Gracious things about how he has uh, just just kind of. I met him. Would have been he launched in 21. Is that right? 22? 22, I think. I think it was 22. Launched in 22. Had some friend Bob and Josh, Bob's Balls in Ball Python Shed. Um, I was vending Arlington. They were vending there. I was on the other side of the room, and I came by and picked up some shipping things that they had. I was like, I'll put them on my table, And some friends, if you know JSA from Minnesota, Joe and Sheena,
Yeah, I've heard of them.
uh,
Yes.
they came over and kind of told me the story, about how where it all started and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a really great guy. And well, so in the fall, it was Arlington early September, and then off a couple weeks, and then Tinley's like 2 weeks after it or whatever. So we were at Tinley, we're getting set up, and Robin came walking by, and we had the little the little shipping things for Redline shipping out there for, hey, we ship with them, you should ship with them and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, thanks for supporting me and stuff. And he stopped and talked for a bit. And after the show, he reached out and was like, hey, are you guys going to be in St. Louis for the NERB ski show there? And I was like, I'm not sure. I haven't signed up for it yet. I'm not sure. Told the wife, I was like, hey, we probably need to go to St. Louis. Like, this shipping guy wants to meet with us. I know we don't ship anything, but like networking is so important and stuff like that. I think just alone on the fact that this person wants to go out to dinner with us and get to know us a little bit, I think we probably need to go there.
Yeah.
So we ended up going there and going out to dinner and getting, like, at the time I'd shipped one package, one ever. And so from there, just him getting to know my family and my kids and treating me as a person. Wasn't a number, wasn't a value in that aspect. And I can't do anything except for rep the guy and push and show how great his brand is, because he's just been that great to me and my family on those aspects, whether it's help him and his whole staff, either if it's something I'm finding on a shipping issue or a delay, or at the show I forgot something, hey, you got some of these or whatever. Like, it's a blast. I love seeing him or AJ or Judy or Tyler or whoever's Jackie, whoever's working the Redline booth. Like, they're always some of the first people I go to say hi to because I have so much love and support for them.
Dude, I guarantee it. Same here. Same here. Red line for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an awesome, definitely an awesome outfit, no doubt. Nothing but good to say about them. Well, that's super awesome.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see what I'm trying to think if I've
What else
skipped.
we
Oh,
got?
I kind of glazed. You talked about I started how eggs and how, like, productivity and stuff like that. I don't think I ever finished that conversation for you. So the first year on pairings, I really don't hold too much to them because you never know if they're going to like each other, when they like each other, when things hit off for them and stuff. But like your smaller locality of animals, those ones that are 220 grams or smaller, typically they're going to lay 6 to 8 times a year.
Okay.
I had one that she laid 10 times a year though, so you can get a little bit higher.
And how
But
many?
just
So how
on
many
average,
eggs are you getting at a time? So two at a time. Okay.
yeah, two at a time. Every once in a while, you get one that lays one, and you're like, "What the heck? What's going on here? Why'd you do one?" uh, but they
Yeah, no doubt.
but then I guess the kids have a different way they do it these days. I don't know. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
But the every once in a while I get one. I had a gecko lay 3 eggs. Like, they laid 2, and then 10 days later she laid another one, which was really weird. Super weird. They all hatched out, but it was like a weird thing. Like, I don't know, beats me.
Like you
Sometimes things are
there's no
unexplainable.
reason that would typically.
No, because usually after they lay, depending on, like, you kind of get to know your geckos a little bit, their cycles and stuff like that. I would say after they lay, you're looking at anywhere from 30 to 45 days on most. I do have a couple that when they lay, it's usually 2 months in between. Your bigger GT, your larger animals like Franklin I showed you and Big Yeti and stuff, for them, obviously they don't lay eggs, but their female counterpart is usually, they're going to lay between 4 to 6 eggs a year. So they're not as fertile, which then when you look at prices and things like that, that makes the price of that type of gecko a little bit more, because it's not being produced as frequently as the other geckos there that are on the smaller end of it. And so it kind of, that's another thing that kind of goes into anticipation or playing the idea of it there.
Again, back to the
And then,
chondros, huh, Phil?
and then,
Leeches and chondros. There you go.
you know,
That's the new
I
one.
I really wanted to get into when I first got into reptiles, like green tree pythons. Had one for a long time. His name was Beetlejuice. Absolutely loved him. Um, let's see. No, it's all good. It's just my luck, you
It's
know.
all, yeah.
It's just my luck. Because definitely, it's definitely missing your vibe. Your info. I
We'll
love
definitely have to do this again because Phil brings the vibe.
your flavor and stuff like
New
that.
Caledonia and Papua New
Yeah,
Guinea
no,
aren't too
no, they're
different,
not.
really. Okay.
No, it's crazy. And so looking at that and thinking about it when I'm like, oh, I want to get into green trees and chondros or whatever and stuff like that. And like, I kind of am a little bit like things that are similar or whatever. Cause I enjoy, they're great. I want it just, they're fun. I absolutely love them. And then, so 10, I say 8, 6 to 8, 4 to 6 eggs for bigger ones. And then on most cases, like I'd have to go back and look at my spreadsheet because we do track each pair and what they lay and all that stuff. I have some sheets in front of me. So on all of my cages, these are two geckos' names. One's Nike, one's Gengar. So this is 2 years ago. So on 214, she laid two, and then here we go, the dreaded one egg. What I do to
There it
make you lay
is.
one, and then you got two again on 624, on 724. We missed writing it down how many we collected, and then we laid one again. Let's see. That just kind of, I just like, these are like my tags on cages and stuff like that. So I know what's in there. My wife knows what's in there. We know what pairing and stuff like that that's kind of taken place. Let me see. Oh, here's
So
a
is
good
there
one.
a husbandry pro you can use for the lychee? I mean, I guess you could revamp some of that to your
So
style, but
I use what is it?
not clutch. There's another. Clutch is mostly just ball pythons right now.
Let me find it.
I think they're all starting to get to a lot of
I
other.
like I use Reptile Buddy.
Yeah, I've heard of Reptile Buddy. Actually, I think I have
It's
it on my phone.
it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
So
It's pretty simple. So
so
okay.
yeah, it works out really well. Nothing too complicated on that end of it. It lets me be able to track things through there pretty frequently and pretty easy and be very transparent. It shows because I like to give people as much information as possible. Reach out if you have any questions. Here's all the correct information. So when you reach back out to me, I know what you're talking about. Let me see. Oh, here's one. So here's another one. Here's Luigi and Espen. These are two smaller geckos here, and they went. So a 1/1 is there was one good egg and one dud. When I turn my phone light on, you can see a little red Cheerio in there. The other one is more a yellow color, looking like a slug, basically. And so I marked that off. I put an incubator usually for a little bit. It usually starts to grow mold, and when I see it molding up, I throw it away. And then we
Right,
went
you try to
two
give it
on
a chance.
yeah, we went 3-8, 4-6, 6-13, 8-11, 10-11, and then she laid at the beginning of last year, like January 5th or something like that. It looks like.
Good
And
question.
so,
So here we go. We got one.
what you got?
Do you palpate or how do you know when they're gravid?
Oh, that's a good question. You can when they're up against the glass or the side of the enclosure, you can if you can see it easier on the cresteds. You can see it on the island sometimes how in their bottom section it kind of bulges out a little bit. As far as palpating or anything like that, I don't. I just kind of hey, there should be eggs in here in the next 10 days. Let's make sure we do a good job looking before we spray. And knock knock. Anybody home? Shaking them. You got any eggs in here? uh,
Don't make scrambled eggs just yet.
I did. I did see a clip of somebody doing some ultrasounding one time. I'm trying to think of who it was. I don't remember. Somebody's doing some. Or they're ultrasounding. It was lychees. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, I guess you can ultrasound anything if you have the right, the little probe, the right tool,
right.
the
And
right,
so,
whatever you call that. What do you call that again, Phil? The probe, the right probe, the linear probe, the whatever one it is.
don't forget the
Yeah.
jelly. You need that too.
And you got to have that jelly.
Yeah. Although
Like
I've seen people
linear.
use like shampoo conditioner. Like if they didn't have any or whatever, like they forgot to bring it with them, they went over to a friend's place. I was like, that's wild.
Dude, that's awesome. Super awesome. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
dude, you covered a whole lot of it. I mean, what
Yeah.
right, spit
Yeah. Oh lordy.
on it. Talk to it, that son of a gun.
That's great. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. What is there?
I mean, is there anything you'd like to I don't know, mate, we could pretty much touched on a whole lot of
Yeah, no, I just kind of
feels
you
kind of
know.
I think short on time maybe. I know
Yeah, no, that's fine. We
everybody
can.
is kind of getting,
Nope,
life
it's that time
everybody's
to
busy. We don't want to hold you up
eat
too
life.
late.
No, you're good. Yeah, no, would love to come back sometime when Phil's at full capacity.
Yeah, I think he
um,
has something he's got to run off and do here pretty quick
yeah,
anyway.
no,
So we just want to make sure you're covered. If
no, I'm
there's, I
good. If
think
you
we,
guys, I want to make sure I represent you
you,
guys and your
dude,
channel and trying to get the YouTube stuff going for you over here. I did make a whole TikTok page for you guys, and then TikTok disappeared. Well, it kind of reappeared again or something, but
it's all, no, dude, it's all good. You did, man. This was bang up. Very,
um,
man. Thank you again. Super
yeah,
good show.
no,
I mean, if you don't know anything, you probably know a little something now. And, I
yeah, no.
want to
If anybody
leech you on an hour after talking.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to. I'd say the two quickest ways are probably a message on social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram. Our Instagram are on both places. It's Epic Style space
Okay.
LLC. You'll find us there. On Instagram, you can hit our link tree, and all of our things are there. And our website is whynotreptiles.com. Uh, so those are two
Super
places you can hit
awesome.
us up at. Real simple there on that piece of it. Um, but yeah, no, I was excited to get on here, talk, chat. Nothing like being able to talk reptiles with people across the world or wherever they might be listening to just on a weeknight or whatever. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to join your channel and share a little bit of information and stuff. So
Dude, anytime, man. Anytime. Come on back to the campfire anytime you want, brother. So we,
yeah, I'm going to Atlanta. Yeah, so
yeah.
I have. So yeah, so if you're in Atlanta, near Atlanta, I'll be at Bob's show in Atlanta there, Valentine's Day weekend, 15th and 16th. After that, let's see, that would be the beginning of March. So that's like Tinley, and I feel like I'm forgetting something else in there. And then, oh, you're gonna be there, Phil? Sweet,
Phil's gonna be
awesome.
there doing
Yeah.
stuff, videoing for the
Okay.
show.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Did you go last year, Phil? No. Oh, dude. So that was the first show I went to, and they had like it was Mike from Herp Collectors and Keys. They were there, and it was like a little sports related. You think of the Super Bowl, you think of like Radio Row and they had like a little pod, like it was them set up next to each other, just podcasting, doing lives from the show. It was like the vibe, the atmosphere was so flipping cool. Like that was one of my favorite things about Bob's show was I went on both podcasts and got to go live and talk. Keys let me and Troy from Best Dress kind of take over the show a little bit so him and Keisha could walk around. So that was pretty fun getting to like host his show for a little bit, and that was neat.
Dude, that's
Um,
awesome.
but yeah, we got Atlanta, Tinley. After Tinley, I'm going to hit some All American shows in Denver and Charlotte, Nashville, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely if you're out in those areas, stop by, see me. Love chatting. So
Well, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future at Pomona. So
yeah, no, definitely.
we'll
And we try to get out there early, like on Thursday or whatever and
all
stuff, so
right.
we can kind of relax and before the heat of the show starts up again. Because it's a 22-hour drive for us.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Well, I'm good, man. Great show again. Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
no,
A good night
thank you.
tonight, Thursday night. Hey, guys, enjoy your weekend coming up. Dredd will be inventing the show, our local Bakersfield Central Valley Reptile Expo this weekend. My first show, so wish me luck.
Yeah, no, definitely,
And I
man.
wish it back to you guys with the shows you're vending and with your successes.
Well, hopefully Phil's not to be quiet for too much longer. We missed you. Hopefully you find your voice.
We're gonna have him in a straitjacket next time.
You should have went and got like a mine costume, painted your face all white, and got the gloves and all that stuff. Would have been great. Oh no, he's trapped in there.
Well, it's a good thing he can get in the comments, so we couldn't
Yeah.
quieten him all the way. It's all good.
Yeah, right on, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody.
We're on stage 2.